Back, everybody, to another episode of Leading Crypto here on a fabulous Fedness Day. Everybody is, I'm sure, aware that we're having some big fiscal policy announced today, and some, probably some volatility is going to come along with it. So, what does this mean for fabulous? What does this mean for Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto, the DXY, things of that nature, right? Levels to watch. Well, we're going to cover that today, right? So if you are enjoying our content on a daily basis, we come to you live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, sometimes 10:19 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video. We jump right into the content. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Magic Internet Money to get us started on this fabulous day.
Yep, he's all about the fabulous these days. And speaking of which, I've decided to match Max. You see that he's got his candle over there, and I've got mistletoe magic. So it's very fitting.
It's not even midnight magic. It's mistletoe magic.
It's midnight vanilla, and that describes me exactly.
Mistletoe Magic is definitely your nickname from now on.
Yeah, well, all right. Anyways, Bitcoin can be underneath the mistletoe. How about that? Yeah, so Q2 low, guys, is what we're eyeing right now, and the Q3 low, which was kind of something that Max had pointed out the other day. It's just a really good reference point. And the reason I bring this up is if we zoom out, we can get a little more, we can get a better picture of what we need to see on a high time frame to look for potential reversals. Something that we discussed in our members only live streams was, the idea of that. And I've brought it up, about 4 weeks ago when we were down here as well, that if we were going to get something like that, it would look a lot like the 2019 top and reversal when we went to 14K. Main reason being is you have this huge descending triangle. Everyone's looking for lower. What did you get? You got consolidation for a little over a month, and then a big move up, back to support, big move up before eventually taking the lows down here. Now, does it have to play out exactly that way? Not necessarily, but this essentially boils down to a sentiment trade. So the idea behind this is everyone is so bearish, and price is failing to push lower. It's really oversold. You're coming into the end of year. You're really running into essentially a short squeeze, for lack of a better term, but it's all based on sentiment. It's how you're going to identify that and kind of jump on board. So you've got your 3-month candles here, though, to see what do we need to see if we want to see an actual reversal. It is going to start with the quarterly chart here at the end of December, meaning that we need to start closing December's month over the Q2 low at 17,567, as we failed to do so here coming into December. So nothing's formally broken here, but when we look at the monthly, we can get something from this. Let's say we get a rally and a rejection, and a lot can happen in the last 2 weeks of the year. I think this is a less likely scenario, but if you did get something like that where you got the rejection, came all the way down and gave 17.5 back up, you would be looking at this as I've now opened a candle below this level and then closed and opened the next preceding candle, which generally is going to be looked at as well as probably going to get continuation down. So what you want to see is price continuing to hold 17.5 going through the end of December. And then it would look like a proper swing failure pattern of the Q2 low right here and the Q3 low right here, 18,000. I think it's 90. I think that's the next target we're actually aiming for here to the upside potentially. So you can see how the monthly bleeds into the 3-month and, so forth and so forth. Like here's the weekly chart. You can see that you're basically setting up for a move. Where do we, if we're looking at this more impulsively from a market structure standpoint, where can we start really saying I'm, macro bullish again? Unpopular opinion, not unpopular opinion, but, unpopular level in the sense that we've talked about it so much over the, past 100 days, 20,688.50 and 20,904, which was your Q4 pivot and your 12M1 from 2021, that little box right there. That is going to be the area of resistance. Is that still up? That is not the right box. Doesn't matter. We don't need a box there. But this is going to be the level of the chart we need to get flipped. If you flip this, to me, it starts to look like making that higher low, getting back above this level, holding it. We have not been above these levels for quite some time. And that's how you get a real squeeze where you start looking at, okay, not only am I looking at this level, I'm targeting this high right here at 22,810. Probably all the way up to the NPOC at 23,400, and then looking straight up to 24,000 and 24,297. Yeah, 297.50 respectively. Maybe even taking out this high at that point, right? So that's how short squeezes can get out of hand. But it's all predicated on the idea of one, closing over 17.5, Or if it's in the short term, you would really need to be living back above our previous resistance zone. And you can see why even on the weekly here, right? Support, where do you go? Top of the range, you lose it, go to the bottom of the range. Very, very simple. And it was our rejection point coming back down. So there are plenty of levels between now and then in the short term, which I'll go over. But on the high time frames, this is a pretty exciting time for people, but I would always advise, hey, zoom out a little bit, make sure you've got the big picture first before you start diving into positions on the low time frame. Understanding that if let's say you start shorting right here and this starts taking off and we get through, 18.5 and then you get through 19.150 and then you're looking all the way up to 20,000, you can't just be holding that short. You have to understand where price is likely going the next step. So you have to have invalidation. You have to have some kind of a level there in terms of where you're willing to cut that trade. So that's why I bring it up. That's why the high time frames are really important for you guys to have in the back of your mind or the forefront of your mind, when you're trading. To the downside, which I don't really think is relevant right now, you can see straight away, this is going to be your daily level right here. Looking at that at 17,245. And then you have the low end of this little box here at 17,147. So nice, what is that, like $80, a little $90 in terms of a box. And your December open, that monthly open we just looked at right here, right? So monthly open. We'll just call it the monthly open, just makes it easier. So lose the December open at 17,148. It's close enough. It's off by like $30. We're not going to split hairs too much here. You lose that and things start to look, well, pretty bad, not just the 17.5 low is lost at that point, but then you're looking all the way back down to that monthly level that could be setting up support also being lost. That's going to be your continuation signal. And then I really think at that point, you're probably coming back all the way to these lows, not just down here in this box, but we can't really talk about that until that move starts to happen, right? So for now, you are looking up to, I think we just hit the Q3 low. Is that what we just came into? Does anybody know? Pretty sure. But
that was correct. Just
yeah,
stop
right.
now. Bastard.
It got me too then, if that's the case.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it is what it is. We took this short right here. More of a scalp trade. That's the purpose of the trade. So again, what we were talking about, whereas you're looking at this in terms of, I want to take the trade, and if it's available to me, I'll trade it, right? If it stops me out, it stops me out. And we've also talked about this local high here. Now, one thing that we can start talking about in the low time frames is merging the ranges. And I've gone ahead and done that before the stream to save time. So if we go to ATAS, if you guys recall, this was our old range right here, not including the price action from the breakdown. So you can see it comes up to around 18,680. Then there's your TPO POC right here, that key level right there, right? So if we get rid of that though, and I merge the new data with the old data, we just treat it all as one range. You actually get this TPO val and value area low at 18,620 and 18,695. And the reason I really like that area, if we were to get a push through the Q3 low, of course, is going to be a little bit of fib work and just some channel work. As you guys know, I like to be pretty dubious with things, and we might as well. But you start looking at things in terms of time and price, and you start kind of eyeballing where things might be looking at. And you can already see we've got a couple lining up here, and it's right here at the top of our new trend, right? So that's what I would be looking for, is something like that. And then you're really looking up for either that, or in this case, it's very dubious butterfly, straight into the now value area low of the old range. So that's generally the first target you're going to be looking for when you're looking for a range back test. You're looking for the value area low, which is what we got right here. It's just, you can't see it. It's on the 15-minute time frame. This trade did take place. It did occur after we came down and made a low right here. You can see we broke through the range, came back tested it, and then sold off. So this is still resistance, and this would be a very obtuse butterfly, but valid nonetheless. And with timing and a new channel, to me, I like it, in the sense that, am I going to preset for that? No. I mean, but am I going to take that trade if the reaction is, good? Yeah. Why wouldn't I? The invalidation is there. And if I get through there, I know my next target is, just above. So I'm not laddering in from 18.6 to 19.150, because that just stretches into 19.411, and then you're looking at 20,600. And then where are you really cutting the trade? So that would be the next areas of interest that I'm after. And the areas to the downside are pretty simple. So That's all I've got on that. I have not looked at SPX at all today, like at all. And so we've already filled out this box pretty well, and we've come back and back tested our regression. One thing I want to point out is all you did was you filled in a gap that you gapped up, you came back, you filled it in, and now you're at the point of, is the market going to continue with this pump, and are we going to get good news? And that would fall in line with the idea of a sentiment trade, like we just talked about on Bitcoin, where we do get higher prices from here. Yeah, I mean, it's got very good potential. All you're doing is back testing this. And so if you find your way back into it, yeah, we're still looking down to 39.23. Then, you're looking down here to the 0.5 inside of the Q4 pivot in 2021 open. But for now, I would be cautious on shorts if you didn't catch like the exact high here, which was a very small SFP of this other local high, right? The reason I bring up sentiment trade is, if we get through this box, does that mean all-time highs? Actually, no. You've got pretty good resistance up here. And this technically is the next target, which is, your A to D leg of our reversal pattern right here. Let me get rid of some of this because it's just not necessary. And you can go, right? So now we're looking at this as, where would people be so bullish, that they could get trapped? Well, a move up above this level would be above what I call the meme line, right? Right here, you'd be back above the meme line. Everyone would be looking for a breakout. And the obvious target is going to be the gold pocket. It's backed up by the yearly pivot at 44.12. So in reality, just call it $4,400 needs to get claimed, right? So that's basically this local high right here. You could just put an alert here, or you could just put a horizontal there if you'd like. And you could just say 43.25.28 is the level I need to see get claimed and flip to support. And then we can put pressure onto this pivot. And if this is claimed, then yeah, I would say that it's pretty likely all-time highs are coming. But I think it's way, way too early to call for something like that, because there are people calling for that now. So you do have to remember you're still at resistance. If you caught the short up here, it's great. I just don't think it's a great R to R right now currently. You could shoot back down to 39.23 and maybe all the way back down to 38.31 from here. Stop loss above the high, just make sure your risk management's in place. It's not a trade I would take personally at this juncture. I'm not one of those people that likes to jump in later. So that's how I'm looking at it. Very, very simple. I don't really have anything else. The only other things that anyone's talking about is the SBF stuff. So we know how, literate we are and all that. All of us get our news from everyone in the group that posts stuff in the news section. We rarely are on top of that. So, I'll kind of default to Max on this one, let him take over.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go over the way you could have gotten to a long from here to really catch it. Now, I think yesterday in the stream, we were mentioning the Q2 low, how it's a really important level to hold. It's a level that I expected a bounce from. Now, instead, what we got is we actually got a bounce from, if we go to the 5-minute chart and zoom back, absolute regret. I put my stop loss right above the high and it's just been taken out, and yet we've come back down. I'll go over it in a minute because I'm debating jumping into another. However, there is some order flow stuff which is kind of making me hesitant. So if I pull a fib from here, you can see slap bang, it was the golden pocket where you came to. So you're pulling it from this impulse to this high. Yeah, just about. And you came back down. You had a PVA into it, although it was a weak PVA, it was only a purple. But then you got the move up. If you go into the order flow, where I've pulled the same pull, and zoom in, you can see that the buyback was pretty neat initially. It kind of dropped off, but you had your signals to get into the position. Where with them signals, you can see the delta was slowly dying off somewhat. It's gone from being quite strong to suddenly dropping off a little bit. Granted, you did have a rather large candle there with another high spike. But the next candle, you had your delta switch up, you had positions changing hands somewhat. You also had, and I wouldn't really look into that one too much. I would look more into the delta switch up that you got. And then because the positions changing hands when you've got positive delta is obviously shorts. But anyway, delta switch up. Then here you've got a buying imbalance, increasing open interest. Okay, so there's buying interest coming off the golden pocket. And if you're being patient and waiting for the candle close, you're getting in here in this next candle, and you would have been very happy with that. I know one guy in the group definitely took it. Fair play for him for taking it. Complete, solid trade, and he rode that right up to 18K. Today has been rather interesting to trade. Joking, it had been rather dull. We have really had no way to really identify which way was going to go, who was coming into the market more or less. If you're looking at it, you did have bearish divergence. However, zooming in, it was kind of coming from positions changing hands rather than tons of longs entering the market. So you have to kind of wait for the guy who's taking those positions to play his hand in order to trade that bearish divergence, and we never got that. So you can really zoom into wherever you had like here, for example, you had a huge spike in the delta. However, you zoom in and look at the $4.7 million delta candle, the open interest was only 7.5K. So it's clearly shorts closing out and someone's just taking them over. So you have to wait for that player to play his hand. Now, I did take a trade here. It was the Asia high from here. We swung, failed to get back above it. I took that short. I was expecting it to go to the daily open. It didn't. And I jumped out when if you zoom in and look at it, you got another delta switch up there. The delta was coming in okay. We weren't getting the open interest increases that you want for shorts to pile in. But then you got a delta switch up and volume kind of dropped off as you reclaimed the pivot. So I just got out for no loss, just covered my fees, fortunately. But then we moved up. Open interest is okay. Delta was somewhat okay. But then you got your spike up on decreasing open interest. So again, it's another one of them moves where, like Magic was mentioning it in when he was talking then, these big rises that we've been getting have all been short squeezes. So you have to be very cautious of it. Now, I did take this swing failure pattern of the previous day high, took it, and my entry was at 17,990 thereabouts. So I did just get stopped out because I traded it as a swing failure pattern, so my stop loss was above the high. Regrettably, I probably should have popped it just above the Q3 low, or potentially this other high, but this is an old high that we spotted on the stream on Tuesday. I think CVO called it out. It's from way back when we were trading up at these levels before. I think it was the start of November-ish. I can't quite recall. But, the reason I put my stop loss here is because, if it gets above here, how high can it wick before the SFP is, if it's going to SFP, it can wick pretty high before it then comes back down and then you've got your SFP. So it's like, where are you going to put your stop loss? So I played it safe, just put my stop loss above the high. And I did literally just get stopped out while Magic was talking. Here's what it is. We moved to the next trade. And then I was looking at whether I should jump into another short. Let me roll it back. Let me go over this SFP and why I was mentioning it on the live trading session that we just did. It was an iffy one. And the reason being is, if you look at the SFP that occurred, I was waiting for this all day. So I was going to take it, no matter what, really. Always low risk. So you don't really have to worry about the loss too much, as long as you're not over leveraging. And the guys in the group know I really don't. But you wicked up and there was no positions changing hands and no trapped traders. So that's an issue when you're taking SFP, because they're the two things that you want to see in order to really move the market away. So I had a very tight take profit. I was going to have a very tight take profit, which was the New York VWAP, as well as this candle close, which is a PVA. Now, what occurred after that is, you came back above the high. So the high is around here, I believe, somewhere here. And then what happened is, you came up and you found buyers. Buyers came in. So it's always the important thing to look at when you're looking for a claim of a level. You've got open interest increasing. Some shorts did try and pile in here at the highs when you made this lower high, tried to pile in here. But ultimately, buyers came in. You've got buyers coming into the market now. And on this rise, before it actually took my high, it was decreasing open interest. And you've had a ton of shorts come in. And this is a lot of shorts looking at this. You've got 6 million, 6.5 million there, just in these this $20 block. You've got $6.5 million worth of shorts enter here on increasing open interest. So there's a lot of shorts here. And then it brings you back around to the fact that you've not really lost the level yet. In fact, let me look at the previous day high. I'm going to pop the marked on just for now to see if it comes up. Yes, the previous day high is just above here. So you've not even lost the previous day high, and you've had a ton of shorts pile in. So they've preempted the SFP. Where we traded, the SFP had been confirmed on a 5-minute chart, but it obviously didn't play out. Here they've preempted it playing out, but they've really gone heavy on the shorts and yet failed to really do anything. Am I going to jump in? Well, no, not yet. The reason being is because I want this low to be taken. The good thing is, if we were to lose this low now, you've got plenty more positions opened up now. There's plenty more trapped longs that we can trade from, and it's not like it's a massive loss putting your stop loss above here and getting an entry down here. It's minor for the potential gains that one could get. The issue that we have also got, and I did mention this just previously as well when we were on stream, is the fact that you've got the news coming out. And we went over all the previous FOMC meetings, looked at the what came out, what occurred on the price. Normally, you find a spike in one direction for it only to go the other direction. So it's not really one where you want to be caught out on, because if it was to spike up, well, it offers a better setup. So it's why I was keeping the stop loss rather tight and trying to get out of the position somewhat early. Not get out of it, but take profits somewhat early, because if it's going to spike down, you want to have them take profits preset, so that if what has happened previously it happens again, and we then spike the opposing direction, you've profited from the downside, and then also profited from the upside. You don't want it to go against you and completely wreck your position, and then you're kind of just like lost, and then it comes and goes in your favor. But it's kind of where I'm looking at it right now. I'm kind of waiting for a loss of this level, but any trade that I take now in the next couple of hours will be scalps, and they will be in and out. I will take $100, I will take $50, and I'll be in and out of that trade. And as soon as them take profits hit, stop loss goes to entry, and then I'll wait and see what occurs later. And we'll certainly be trying to trade it in the group. I know Magic's on Sin City, but definitely look for a whipsaw movement. It go one way and then bounce straight back the other. Looking at the past, looking at all the FOMC meetings since May, that's been the case. Whether it be up or down, it's. I think the only time they actually got it bang on, it went up and then down. All the other times we've gone down and then up. So it's kind of the reason I was trying to get into a short to make the most of it. But the setup isn't there right now. The setup comes when you lose this level, which we haven't. But if we come and take, squeeze these out, you've got to think, where are these guys' stop losses? These guys that have just entered, well, potentially just above the Q3 low and above this old high. So if we get another swing failure pattern here, there's another trade setup. I'm not going to just jump in because I think it's going to go down. I'm going to wait, and then we'll take the trade setup as it comes. So looking for this high to now get taken because of all them shorts have piled in. Swing fail of this, there's one other entry. Tight stop loss, minimize your risk for when the news event occurs, but it gives you an option to potentially get some of that whipsaw movement if it is to play out. But same as yesterday, I'm looking for the Q2 low to be held, and I'll let Magic's analysis that he just mentioned do most of the talking. So we're not really going to go over all the targets and what have you. I'll leave that to his part of the stream. But that's kind of what I'm expecting here. Right now, CVO, you are up. I also want to mention that Magic lied to us before the stream. He said his candle was called Midnight Magic, not Mistletoe Magic. That's why we were completely in hysterics at the start of the stream. He also does face manicures.
Manicures is not the appropriate term for that. So,
manicure.
Yeah. That's what manscaping is short for. But all right.
Here we go. Anyways. Mistletoe magic, though. I am a fan of that candle. I'm going to have to go out and get me cop me a few. Okay. So unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum has not yet swung around and taken yesterday's high quite yet, right? So both Bitcoin and Ethereum right on yesterday's streams leading up to this. We were looking for the statistical target of those monthly key levels. For Bitcoin, it was like 18,019-ish, 20-ish. And then for Ethereum, it's like 1350. This was the reason so far that I'm looking to short ETH if we do get the opportunity on something like that. Otherwise, at this moment, same deal as Bitcoin, right? You really have to kind of know the confirmation of, is this going to continue up, or is this going to, sweep up, stop everybody out, and then turn around for a bit? And that's the question at hand. So for me, I'm looking at, our current range here, and monthly key level comes in here. And then I've noted this level just above here, and this is 1351. That level is basically our high from November 9th, I believe. Yeah, scooping over all the way over here, right? So when we think about this range as an idea of, if anybody's been shorting, where would they put their stop loss? It's generally going to be right above this region, right? So looking for that, potential for the, blow past here, sweep the high, come back below, start closing. And then, that's the entry for the short idea. So that short idea could potentially come all the way back down to this untapped daily, this golden pocket, and so on. You have a bunch of pit stops along the way. Maybe we just rotate, the current range here. That's why taking profits along the way is, very crucial in steps of that nature. But yeah, ETH has not yet taken that area. This equivalent for Bitcoin, we were just talking about it, is equivalent to, I think it was the Q3 low, which is that 1890-ish, 181118 in that region. So I imagine that they may come up and take them both together. So something I'm still really monitoring on that regard, right? So as far as anything else, what were we looking for as of recent, right? So got the run up yesterday, did not necessarily meet the local golden pocket for Ethereum like you did for Bitcoin, right? So that's what I got already noted down here. So did have our previous range here with the value area low aligning with that golden pocket. So that was a potential area to kind of keep an eye on. Would have been a nice range rotation had we gotten it. Otherwise, still just basically ranging around. So we are coming into the basically range high. You got the point of control, which is essentially where we're at the moment. Daily open just below us, VWAP. We got an untapped daily key level down here that, at some point is, probably going to be met in the next day or so here. High statistical chance that is 1308. So one thing to note as well is if we do see something, even in a short term, maybe it's not the absolute short term top, but we do get a, ordeal come up, knock everybody out. This would definitely be an ideal little target in the short term, down in 130860, 130850. I'm sorry. Otherwise, yeah, just really, paying attention, waiting to see if we actually come through and start flipping this region. Well, then we can zoom out to our higher time frame here, right? And as you all know, where we've been looking for quite some time is you got our high time frame range. Whoops. And Q2 point of control, right? 1221 obviously has been holding up, handling the business pretty well. The untapped, actually, obviously that's now effectively tapped. Monthly key level is basically our line in the sand for more upside at the moment. So you flip that, and then more than likely we're going to challenge up into the golden pocket from overall high to low. Got a quarterly key level here as well. And then anything further than this, come up and clear this level, claim that, and then we're probably going to take up to about 1768 in that region. So those would be, that's essentially the main levels of concern, right? So as far as the short-term idea here, really looking to see how we react above this monthly key level, very much especially above this region right here, that 13. This is on Coinbase, so it really depends on what exchange you're trading on. We trade on Bybit, so on Bybit that level is, got it marked there, 1351. So if we come through and start claiming that region, then, obviously we got to anticipate that we're probably going to make our way up to the golden pocket. At that level, we'll reevaluate and see how things look at that time. But yeah, we've had a pretty nice rise here. So, I mean, it really wouldn't be, out there to just kind of see that like kind of how Max was saying, that whipsaw kind of price reaction. It's very interesting to note that, you get these moves up, days ahead of time, although we had the CPI data yesterday, I suppose, but aside from that, it's just like the slow grind into the levels. You got positions being built up, and then essentially it's timed around 2 o'clock today, 3 o'clock today. Obviously, we'll probably get a move in the market, and it's obviously timed and correlated around those meetings. But yeah, I mean, essentially that's kind of it. We pretty much covered this idea pretty heavily yesterday as well, and now it's kind of coming to fruition. So we're just along for the ride like anybody else at this point. So that's how I'd be approaching it. I did cash out my long yesterday on Bitcoin from the golden pocket down here at the previous week val. Got in at 16,907. Took it up to the monthly. So right now I'm not in a position at the moment, and I'm just looking for the potential short on Ethereum. That's where I'm going to go versus Bitcoin this time around. Yeah. I think that's about all we got time for today. So be sure to look up the Mistletoe Magic Candle. They are our daily sponsor for the episode today. And also be sure to tune in later this afternoon, because our boy Magic is going to be hanging out. Max.
Pretty big.
Max on the big screen, baby. Magic and Gareth Soloway are going to be hosting, or co-hosting, I suppose, with Sin City this afternoon. So 2 p.m. I believe Eastern. If I'm not wrong there, Magic, correct? 2 p.m.
Yeah, 1 o'clock my time. Just some time for me to get a nap beforehand.
Good old nap. Yeah.
Dude, I'm a midday napper, dude. I got to get that hour nap in.
Hey, you need it, man. You need it.
It's beauty sleep. It's for that face manicure.
For the manicure. Yeah. No, that's definitely the secrets, man. Everybody's always actually asked, how do you keep the skin so, looking luscious?
Hey, what's beyond me is that now that people know what I look like, they're always like, I thought you'd be nerdy and ugly. And I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of comment? What kind of like backhanded comment is that?
You'd think with all that sleep you get, you'd be a bit taller.
I don't think that's how that works.
You're supposed to grow.
I don't know what they taught you guys in the UK during school and whatnot, but that's not how growing works. But all right.
Oh God, fun times. Been a fun stream. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I got stopped out.
Yeah, well, you're gonna win some and lose some. Part of it. I'd be shocked if it didn't take that 18 high.
And one of my friends was literally like, "Oh, I thought he was gonna look like."
CVA's lagging.
Yeah, I'd say he just cut out completely. But I've got nothing else to add because I'm going to be streaming for like another hour and a half later today. And I know you just streamed all morning. So, yeah. All right. If there's no questions, guys. If there's no questions, guys, we're going to hop off here. If you're in the group and you have a question, all you got to do is tag us in there and we'll get to it. Otherwise, cheers and have a great day.